Mark asked me to bust out the camera so we could do a how-to video on how to make chimichurri. And on the how-to videos, we wanted a little bit more quality than our phones. We know from a lot of research and following certain people on YouTube that the how-to videos are one of the most searched videos on that channel or on that platform. And so I busted it out and he made it super quick. Chimichurri is delicious. I am partial to Mark's chimichurri, not just because he's my husband and the chef and my partner. I have actually been telling him that he should bottle the chimichurri for about 10 years, but again, small business, that takes a lot of money, and R&D and whatnot. So he has not bottled it, but it's delicious. It's really easy to make, and that'll be going on the channel on how to make chimichurri. Also, a lot of times people will be like, why do you have this on your menu? Why do you have that on your menu? Is it really Spanish? And you know, one of the things that Mark says, well, does it taste good? We don't live in Spain, we live in Chicago. So we take a lot of influences from where we live as well as Spain. But a lot of people don't know that the sauce that is most attributed with Argentina also has Basque roots in Spain, which is pretty cool. So I didn't say this last time, I use a Nikon D3100. Don't get super hung up on the equipment, but I did want to let you know which model that I use because it's not super expensive and it's a pretty easy investment. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that. And Mark said that I should put a whiteboard back here because these are my clothes and all of the bags from my dry cleaning, and this is me charging you for carrying, scheduling, all of my paychecks, accounting things, insurance things back there. And I was like, why? We should show people that, you know what, it's not super glamorous downstairs. You've seen that on his videos as well. And I might just take a page out of Gary Vaynerchuk Wine Library TV days and put like Cubs things here because I have been a Cubs fan my whole life. Side note, Mark is not a Cubs fan. He grew up on the south side, so he's a Sox fan. So we are a house divided in sports, but that's the only spot. So look for Cubs gear here. Friday. Friday is one of the busiest days in a restaurant. We get a ton of deliveries on Friday for what we are anticipating to be our two biggest days of the week, Friday and Saturday, for our guests in the restaurant to be busy. And so Friday is the last day of the week that we can get liquor orders delivered. So we order on Thursday for Friday delivery. It's also a big delivery day for Mark. However, he can get food delivered on Saturday. But Friday is a lot of running around. It is receiving orders, putting orders away, stocking everything to be ready when you open at 5 o'clock or if you open for lunch earlier. So Fridays can be kind of hectic. I am getting ready to print a new wine list for the weekend. The seasons are changing and people a lot of times drink differently, just like they eat differently. So we're putting on some really pretty fresh white wines for spring and changing up some of our reds. So that is happening. That can be time consuming to make that change. So Mark is upstairs literally prepping his ass off right now. So Fridays can be kind of hectic. On the flip side, Saturdays are kind of quiet. Even though Mark gets food deliveries, he doesn't get as many usually as he does on Friday. It's a little bit quieter. A lot of our purveyors, our sales reps and whatnot, you know, they take a weekend. They're off on Saturdays and Sundays, so they aren't dropping in for a check or requesting an appointment and all of these things. So Saturdays can be a little bit quieter. It is a great day for us to do research and development. So tomorrow we are going through our second phase of development for spring cocktails. Last week we did our first round and Mark was there. Mark tastes wine with us when we bring new wines in. We have Mark try them. When we're doing cocktail development, we have Mark try it. And I highly recommend this, especially, you know, like you know, Mark likes wine. I mean, he owns a wine bar with me, but he likes wine, but you know, he isn't studying about wine and going all in like we are from the front of house team and our sommelier team. However, it's really good to have him try the drinks and try the wines because he'll be a great litmus test for us. We may love Chenin Blanc, but we want him to try it and we want to get his opinion. And he's going to be, oh yeah, that's really good. It will go with like A, B, and C dishes. That's one reason we have him try it. Or he's like, you know what, that's not really my bag of tricks. Like, tell me why you put this on. And then on the flip side, he also does that with food. Nothing goes on the menu without him having dishes tasted by my sommelier and myself. And I think that that is super smart because we check our egos and our super soft feelings at the door so that we can give each other constructive criticism. It's important to do that because if you're not having constructive criticism among your teams and saying this needs to be better, this needs more salt, this needs more acid, then what's going to happen when you serve that to a guest? Maybe it's not remarkable and it's the deciding factor on whether or not they come back to your restaurant. So make sure to get team members from other departments involved in your tastings so that you have a great, well-rounded picture of what your guest is probably going to like. So Saturday's cocktail development went really well. We have 3 solid drinks that we're kind of ready to take to the final stages and get them on the menu. However, you didn't see that video because I made a YouTube rookie move and forgot to turn off the house music that was on the speakers in the dining room. Copyrighted house music in the dining room, which YouTube will flag and then the video won't be valid. So I learned my lesson. Mondays we talk about lessons learned. That's definitely one of the lessons that I learned, that I just have to pay attention to that because I wasn't even really hearing it because it was background music. So we will be doing more development next week and I will include that. I also wanted to talk today about not getting hung up on getting started. So it can be very hard to create a YouTube channel. Not from a perspective of it's hard to record a video and put it up, but it's hard to get out there in front of your phone such as this and talk on camera, and there's a million reasons why we as human beings a lot of times don't like to do that. However, it's important to get started. What our thought process is behind having Married to Mendez and showcasing sort of a behind the scenes of a small business is to eventually be a resource, but also be there for other small businesses and restaurants that, you know, maybe need a good pep talk to keep going and understand that we all go through hard times, but it's not about that. It's how do we bounce back and how do we always continue to evolve and get better. So while some of these may not be the most beautifully produced and we're learning how things go, I definitely was learning how things went when I edited and added music to the chimichurri, how to make chimichurri, but we're learning. And I think it's really fantastic to document when you are learning because aren't we all going through that? I think so. And so that's one of the reasons that we created this channel and why we're doing the videos. So stay tuned for what's happening the rest of the week and a development video on our cocktails next week with proper music. Also, Cubs is still gonna happen here. So, just so you know.